Alright, hello everyone, how's it going? This is Christopher C, of course, and Mikey All-Star here. Today we have a different video. Oh yeah, so as you can see here, I've got some old customs. Some of these are like ancient, they're probably around since Mesopotamia, but here we are once again, yes. We've done this a little bit in the past, where we've sort of gone over these older minifigures I've done in the past, but I figured we could do it again. I think it'd be pretty fun. Last time we did this, I'm pretty sure we just focused on the Avatar The Last Airbender minifigures I made, which are probably some of the most ungodly creations to curse this earth. But anyways, we've got quite a variety here of different minifigures, and they're all, of course, incredibly dusty. Wouldn't happen any other way. But we have some TF2 minifigures, well, just one actually. We've got Indiana Jones minifigure, we've got a few Korra minifigures, we've got some movie and games and all sorts of fun stuff, so let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Now, way back in the day, I used to play a lot of TF2, like so much TF2, like that was pretty much what I did when I got home from school, in middle school. I was like, hey, it's TF2 time, and I figured we should make some Lego TF2 minifigures, and I gotta say, they didn't turn out too bad. Now, not all of them were winners, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this one right here, this one, of course, is the Demolition Man, and yeah, even today, I don't mind it too much. Like, it's not the greatest minifigure, and obviously it doesn't look, you know, super great as far as, like, the torso and everything like that, and it looks, you know, very painted on instead of, like, a little more seamless, but anyways, though, yeah, so this is the Demolition guy. Of course, I wanted to make all of these guys red except for the spy. The spy that I made was blue. Originally, I was going to go back and make all of these blue variants so I can have red and blue, because in the game you either are red or you're blue. And I figured it'd be kind of cool to have the entire team, but no way, Jose, man. That was probably the best idea. I didn't, like, go through with that. But as you can see, I'm pretty sure, like, a lot of the red elements are not painted on. Pretty sure I just used red pieces as the base. That's definitely a time saver if you find like a really good piece that you like that's like the right color you need. I just recommend using that instead of like wasting a bunch of paint. But yeah, so this of course uses a lot of red. The arms are red, the legs are red. The torso, I have no idea what color this is. But yeah, the detailing is a little sloppy, but it's honestly not the worst thing I've ever done, really, which you'll see later. But yeah, so the problem with paint sometimes that I use is that sometimes it gets scratched, or if you don't like, yeah, if you do put on the arms too early, you make a mistake and you'll smear everything and stuff like that. So you gotta be patient. But he's got these little like bombs and stuff like that. They're not very uniformed, of course, but from afar, this minifigure isn't too bad. He's got like this little belt buckle and everything like that. He's got like just a little symbol. I don't know what that actually is, but and I do have this custom piece. Something to really make your minifigures stand out is to get these custom pieces. Like, of course, like Lego weapons and whatever are cool too, but this, you know, sort of representative of a weapon that he has in the game, a glass bottle. So there we go. Yeah, this is from, I believe, Brick Forge, I'm pretty sure, which I believe is still around. Of course, I use the Nick Fury head. What I usually do these days is find a head that works really well for the character, because painting heads is pretty difficult, and of course with Korra, I do like anime type heads and stuff like that, but it's not impossible to paint a head that makes it look like a Lego minifigure. There's of course a lot of great Lego custom artists out there that do that, of course, like Michael MGF and etc. Are pretty great at being able to replicate that sort of Lego style for like a different face and be able to capture both the actor or whoever that's portraying the character as well as just the Lego look too, so that's really impressive. I can't do that though, so that's why I chose to do it this way. So that's why it's lazy, but it gets the job done. So this honestly isn't too bad, especially comparatively towards the other minifigures. Now don't worry, it gets much worse, hang on. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite at the bad stuff yet. We're sort of easing in. We're easing in, alright? It's gonna get worse as we go on. Don't worry. We're saving the worst for last, as they say. Anyways, though, we have Sala from Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, and I was shocked, actually, to find out that there was not a single Sala minifigure for years until last year. What is wrong with you, Lego? No, it's fine. But seriously, though, why? He's like one of the most important characters in the movie, man. He's the main character. It's called Sala and the Last Crusade, right? Like Indiana Jones, who is that? Nobody knows who that is, but Sala, everybody knows Sala. Anyways, we've got this snap head right here from freaking whatever this is, Star Wars, that thing that people, that exists, I believe, from Force Awakens and everything. And I used the Aladdin here because he has a fez in the movie, I think. as you can see, when you look at it closely, you may be able to tell where I cut the hair. Possibly. He just has a receding hairline. It's okay. It's fine. But you may be able to tell where exactly the hair connects to the head. Possibly. So in this instance, like sanding it down, I just like cut it off. I think sanding it down and maybe repainting it, or even using some clay would have been much better. This minifigure isn't bad because, for the simple fact that it is very simple. I used the Aldrich Killian torso, I believe, from Iron Man 3, and painted over it. So like all of the stuff that's on the side and whatnot, that's not the actual shirt and whatever and tie, not painted. This minifigure looks good because most of it is not painted. I say looks good, but you just gotta look at some of it, kind of. Oh, if you close your eyes, it looks great. But the shirt is pretty okay. We've got the lines there, a little awkward in places and everything like that, but the white is okay. The little collar up there is fine. The tie, so you got a little egg on there, right? You got the whole entire egg. There's the yellow yolk and stuff like that. The tie could use a better shape there. Not quite the tie shape that we're looking for here, and the belt is fine. I managed to keep this within the lines fairly decently, but there's still a little messiness here. So this minifigure isn't bad either. It's just kind of basic, and that's why it works. But don't worry, we're almost there, almost to the bad stuff. Now here we have Gideon from Scott Pilgrim. I made these minifigures such a long time ago. You can tell by how much dust is caked on it. But yeah, I almost forgot what this guy's name was too. I was about to call him Buddy Holly, but it's pretty close to a Buddy Holly minifigure. Where's the official Lego Buddy Holly minifigure, by the way? Anyways though, can you tell what elements are painted? I don't know if you can. It's kind of hard. Now look how caked on this paint is. Look at that. That's crazy. That looks like freaking drywall, man. That's crazy. But yeah, I tried. Instead of using a white torso, for some reason I just decided to paint a torso white. Because that makes perfect sense. Like I said, you want to do probably as minimal work as possible. Because it looks good with the minimal. This example of what minimal work looks like. It's okay. It's not bad, but this is just a little very chalky and stuff like that. Now the tie and the red is okay. Very simplistic. Barely any like detail on this minifigure whatsoever. So not much to talk about here really. There's like some buttons on the side, which I actually kind of like this side. I think that side isn't half bad. Now this side is kind of half bad. Yeah. Face. Yeah, can you tell these glasses are painted on? Yeah, I think you probably can, right? It didn't quite, yeah, and the hair, we may have missed a few spots on the hair, possibly, but, it still gets worse. Don't worry, it's okay, it's gonna get worse. See, sometimes to get something that looks, pretty decent is, just to make the simplest thing. If you're not like the best painter or anything like that, if you make like something that's really simple, then, it probably will work, because like there's like very few painted elements on here. You can probably count the painted elements with your hands and not even run out of one hand. You'd still be on the first hand. You've got the flesh tone right there. You've got the little like ties and like the little like collar and stuff like that. Very simple, messy, but it's okay because it kind of looks okay. Now this little scarf bandana thingy-mabob, you may be able to tell what color that was before. Not entirely sure. It could have been green, could have been purple perhaps, not really sure. And then you have the Lone Ranger head, which I gotta say, this actually works pretty well. This is Wesley from Princess Bride. It's, you can tell who this is, I think, the man in black. He's got a little stash in the movie, so he's got just you can just barely see that, like his mustache is very light because it's very blonde. But, yeah, this isn't bad. Once again, simplicity can be your friend if you're not really too great at painting, but you want to make minifigures. Starting off simple is pretty nice, and sort of learning from there can be helpful. And yeah, so the simple ones kind of fold up, not too bad. I mean, they're not great, but it's, passable, I guess, kind of. We've got 3 more minifigures after this, and trust me, I don't know if you want to keep on watching this video at this point. But here's Ezio. I was making Assassin's Creed minifigures. I'm not done making Assassin's Creed minifigures. I haven't made a custom minifigure in probably like 75 years. So last time I was making these things, like freaking Gerald Ford was in the office. But anyways though, Yeah, this one, I will say, this one isn't terrible. Like, honestly, I don't mind this. This, I believe, is probably the most recent minifigure out of the bunch. And, you know, maybe I could say that my skills have improved. Now, that's not to say this is great. Like, by no means is this really great. Like, does that look like Ezio to you? That head? No, it's not Ezio. That's freaking Dean from Supernatural there, man. Look at that. But, yeah, there's a lot of detail in this thing. You can, of course, tell the painted elements. It's not very seamless. But I did try my best to, like, make these look pretty decent. I've got all the different lines and stuff like that. The glove is not gonna stay up. It's not great. You've just got the brown glove. You got like the start of the glove on the hand, but that doesn't match at all. So that's always great, isn't it? I will say, like, painting hands is a little tricky for me because it never really looks that great. I don't think we have any painted hands in these minifigures. But it just doesn't quite work sometimes. The hood is alright, it's fine. I guess, like, if you do this, it actually does kind of look a little bit like Ezio when you don't see the eyes. Just clay and stuff. You can tell, but it's not terrible, I guess. It kind of has like a little clothy feel to it, which I did on purpose, sort of that texture and stuff like that. Here's the cape and everything. The cape, I believe, is probably glued on, or it might be taped on, I'm not sure. I don't want to find out by ripping it off. But this one honestly isn't too bad. Like, it's not great, like I said. It definitely has some problems. Like, look at this part, like specifically like this little like collar areas is very messy. Some of the lines aren't great. Like, this is very uneven too. You see this right here and that right there, not even. The belts as well, like that little insignia right there, messy. But yeah, it's not terrible. It's not great either. But Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. Do you ever get the coolest, like, custom pieces from, like, any, like, Lego seller ever? And, like, you're like, hey, how can I make this, like, 50 times worse? Well, let me show you how. Master Chief. So I thought that, you know, we could really pack in a lot of detail here, so I went ballistic with the detail. I probably saw Michael MGF's, like, freaking Master Chief minifigure from Halo 4 or whatever. I was like, I mean, I could do that. I mean, who am I? I mean, Christopher Z sounds like Michael MGF if you say it backwards, but anyways, yeah, so there's just way too much detail going on here. Like, you know, simplicity sometimes can be your friend. If you want to make a really complex minifigure and you still want it to make it look like Lego makes some complex minifigures. They don't make, like, things that are, like, super crazy. Now, this isn't to say, like, a custom minifigure has to look like official Lego minifigure, of course, no. That's not the point necessarily, but there's just too much going on here. This is crazy. There's too many lines and stuff like that, just hyper detailed. I think the problem is the black. It has such high contrast with the green. Now, if it was like a little, like, if this wasn't like as black, like, I feel like the visor is fine. Like, also as well, I'm pretty sure it's like a paint marker, which is not very good for this sort of thing. Like, starting off, like, maybe paint markers are alright, but I used to use paint markers a lot. Like, you'll see a lot of paint marker stuff in the end of this video. But using just, like, official paint, yeah, because paint markers aren't official paint. No, using just like paint and stuff like that is much better. You can even use a toothpick, which doesn't get the best results sometimes, but I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But yeah, so there's just, like, way too much going on here. Like, it's too much. Like, honestly, it isn't, like, the worst minifigure, but I feel like especially, like, this area right here, it just, like if this was, like, more simplistic, that maybe this could be a little better, and the torso feels a little better, maybe it could be better, but it's not. So yeah, these pieces are very cool though. Brick Forge, once again. I think they probably still exist. If not, there's probably other ways to get these pieces. Brick Arms might have them, not entirely sure. Got the gun, one of the guns from Halo as well, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, just too detailed, and I think the problem is that the detail is not that there's too much of it, it's just that it's not good. So yeah, I think, like, a different color might have worked a little better with this, a little more seamless possibly, but yeah, just a little too much, a little too busy here. Now tell me, would you date a guy that looks like this? No way. Look at this. Look at this minifigure right here, man. This is this is what happens when you think you can make Lego minifigures and you find out that you really can't make Lego minifigures. This might be like one of the most egregious things I've seen in my entire life. If I go outside in the garbage can, it's gonna look better than this, man. Look at this. This is primarily paint marker, so this is what the results get with paint marker. Now that's not to say you can get like it's always gonna be bad with paint marker. Like of course you can make good minifigures. Did I make good minifigures with paint markers? No, I did not. So it's very shiny and stuff, and very like I don't know, sort of like not like pasty, but it's just kind of like really goopy, I guess is really the word. As you can see, I was still like trying to master the eyes. The eyes might be a little off from each other. It's really good to like sort of get that sort of central like symmetry, especially with the face. The mouth is insane, like that's way too thick. The beard, it just doesn't feel like it's like the mouth and the beard, I feel like they're like way too off. The arrow is pretty good. Just kidding, it's terrible. But the arrows on here are just as bad as well, so that's okay. Now the torso itself is also pretty terrible. I did use yellow on there, so like that stays consistent. I didn't have to paint any yellow, so that was probably beneficial. But that looks like really just like old and dated and stuff, and worn down, because it probably is. But everything just looks so off. Like it just looks terrible. Like if you can tell it's Aang, but do you want to tell it's Aang? No, you don't. So this is how not to make a minifigure right here. If you make this minifigure, I'm so sorry. Now hold on a second, it gets worse, don't worry. So here we have Varric. This is exactly how he looks like in the show, I guarantee. Like this is his face right here. You pull up like a screenshot of his face, exactly like that. Now the actual torso is not bad for like someone that was just starting off to make these minifigures. See, it's got this sort of like glossy feel to it, which if you like that, that's cool, but I don't. And it feels very weird too. It's not very fun to hold. I'm regretting all of my life decisions holding this minifigure. But anyways, yeah, so it's just very glossy and shiny. You can see the light reflecting off of it. The lines, once again, egregious. The detailing just looks terrible. It's very simplistic and just not at all very good looking. The cuffs are very weird as well. Why is it like that? I don't know. It just looks very terrible. I saw this minifigure, it's like, I did it. I made Varric, and I'm also legally blind too, I guess. You can see my like fingerprint right there, kind of. That's kind of cool, right? But how does this happen exactly? How is it that I got the whites on one side, but it got covered up on the other side? It doesn't actually make any sense whatsoever. What did I do? Did I paint the white first and then do the blue? That doesn't make any sense. You want to start off with like the big details first and then do the little details. Are you stupid? Me? But yeah, that face, it just perfectly encapsulates this video, I think. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I enjoyed this video. I'm sorry you had to suffer all of this eye pain. I have to look at this every day, so I figured, you know, you guys could suffer a little bit while I suffer. Take the brunt of the blow there. But anyways, though, I'm not done making minifigures. I still want to make minifigures. It's just I haven't really had the time or passion to make minifigures. Doesn't mean that I won't make them in the future, because I'd love to make them in the future. Which sounds kind of like paradoxical, that I love making them and I don't have the passion to make them right now, but I do really enjoy making these minifigures. And when they turn out really nice, then it's kind of satisfying to see that happen. Most of these, I was satisfied with them at one point in my life, but now, maybe not. Anyways, though, I'll see you all in the future. If you want me to do this again, let me know. I've got plenty of terrible minifigures and everything like that. I figured it's sort of like a way, basically, for me to tell you how not to make minifigures. If I do enough of these videos, you'll finally have all the answers on how to make a minifigure just by knowing on what not to do. So, I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!